Welcome to the Senior Scoop, where experience meets community. Hi, I'm Deborah Samuel.
And I'm Kelsey Samuel. We're your hosts, bringing you real Santa Barbara stories, trusted advice, and expert tips for seniors and their families. The Senior Scoop is proudly brought to you by SBSOS, your local support network for seniors. You can visit us at sbsos.care or call us on 805-946-0060.
Now, let's dive into this week's Senior Scoop. Hi, I'm Deborah Samuel.
And I'm Kelsey Samuel. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing the important topic of senior mobility, all things mobility related. We have several professionals that we have invited to come onto this episode to share with us their perspectives on how seniors can stay more flexible, more mobile, and stronger into their later years.
All right, let's jump into today's Senior Scoop. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning.
Good morning, Justin.
Thanks for having me here.
You are welcome.
We are so excited to have you here on the Senior Scoop this morning, talking about mobility and seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you are very interested in keeping people healthy for the long haul. So this is going to be an exciting interview this morning.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, I want to start off, how does someone get into yoga, and what drew you to want to even be in this profession?
I mean, I think for me, I was suffering from a lot of anxiety and a lot of discomfort in my own body, years of just, injuries from various things. And I was in the arts and had been injured when I was doing a couple of shows. And I came to yoga and I really just kind of felt totally different after the first couple of classes. And it was physically, I felt comfortable in my body, more comfortable in my body. I felt like I was getting a workout. But then what happened was I started to notice my stress levels naturally were lowering. And I was less hot, as they say, right?
Yes.
I was less I wasn't getting angry. I wasn't getting frustrated as easily. And I'm like, what is this? What's happening? And so I kept going because every time I would go, I would feel better and better and better. And it just became, a habit that literally changed my life. Helped me with the pain, helped me feel better in my body, lowered my stress levels, just made me a better human being.
I love that. I mean, I can resonate with that in my own story.
Mm-hmm.
I did not even discover yoga till I was 48.
Mm.
I thought it was this kind of pretentious, bougie thing that,
Mm-hmm.
Cute little girls in spandex did.
Yeah.
And a very intimidation
Yeah.
to go into a studio.
Mm-hmm.
And I can resonate with a lot of those things of just discovering how to be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And so today we're going to specifically talk about aging and seniors and how yoga is really playing a big part in helping seniors with their mobility.
Yeah, I mean, mobility and chronic pain management and how someone can access, I guess, yoga.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
From that standpoint. So I know that in a lot of the communities and around town, we talk about chair yoga.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's just too easy.
Right.
And it's like, you obviously haven't been to an advanced chair yoga
Exactly.
crowd.
Exactly.
So maybe we can just talk a little bit first about, how you, from your perspective, how you see yoga as being an important practice for someone who is trying to manage their mobility and, and stay flexible as they
Absolutely.
age. Yeah.
I mean, I think yoga, like you said, it unfortunately has not been super accessible from a marketing perspective, right? We see these young, skinny, mostly white women, right, wearing these tights, and it's like, well, I'm not going to do that. And all of these poses that people are doing where they're putting their legs over their head, and
it's not natural.
It's not natural. Yes, no.
That
For
does
most
not
of
just
us, no.
happen.
For most of us, no. And so I think that that's given it such a misconception, right?
Yes.
That's actually what it is, and it scares people. But it is an incredibly powerful physical practice that, especially for seniors and especially as we age, number one, we work a lot on balance. That is the first thing I see in my aging population of students is they start to lose their balance.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They start to lose their balance. They start to lose bone density.
Mm-hmm.
And so with most yoga, physical yoga, you're using your own body weight. So body weight, we know, strengthens the bones. And there are particular, forms of yoga that are right now really popular that are great for osteoporosis, osteopenia. And most of them are just standing in a pose for a minute and a half.
So it's the length of the pose that helps in strengthening, I see.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And so we focus a lot on balance and mobility and just flexibility. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to put my legs around the back of my head, and get into this crazy pose. But just simply being able to stretch your hamstrings does wonders for your back. Being able to move your hands, and stretch your hands and your feet can help with arthritis in the hands and in the feet. So it's incredibly powerful for people to continue to move.
I think a lot of pain is actually caused by a lack of muscle flexibility, especially when you talk about the IT band, in your legs, etc. Then that starts to impact your knee, which then impacts your hip, which then impacts your back.
Yes, 100%. Yes, yeah, it's all a chain connected.
Right. So, before discovering yoga and the correctness of stretching, it's just so easy to go to the doctor and say, or my back hurts.
Yes.
And take a pill for that, as opposed to there's actually something you can do for that.
Yes. And it's because pain, it's really interesting because with pain, we go through a pain cycle where pain causes stress causes pain, and it just keeps going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth,
yeah.
right, until you actually can break it. And it doesn't mean that the pain goes away, but it reframes your relationship with the pain, which is why yoga is so powerful, because we do a lot of breathing, right? We breathe, we talk about the breath, we talk about mindfulness. So when we are breathing rhythmically, it turns on our parasympathetic nervous system, which allows the release of endorphins, those feel-good chemicals.
Nice.
And even if just for a short period of time, that takes us out of that pain cycle. And so the more we do that, the more we're able to change our relationship with the pain.
Right.
And in some ways make it a lot better. Yeah.
I know for me, when I'm stretching, it's very important to breathe. Otherwise, I'm like holding my breath. I'm trying to get to my toes, And so rather than just breathe 2, 3, and just relaxing into it, it's just so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people don't even realize they're not breathing. They're so used to holding their breath or being a very shallow breather. I think yoga, in my opinion, is a wonderful way to help train yourself. How do we really breathe and get into that breath?
Absolutely.
And how do we relax that mind to breathe into that stretch that's a little uncomfortable?
Absolutely.
I haven't seen those toes in a while. It takes a while to get there.
Absolutely.
But as we do learn to breathe, I love that you can just kind of ease into it. But it is a practice.
It is. And the practice is that, I love that word, because it's not a perfect. And I think that's also what keeps people away from yoga, is because they feel like, I have to get to this place. And that's what I'm working towards. And we encourage as much as we can. It's not about getting to an end result. It really is not an end result, right? It's just about consistently showing up. And my students, especially my older students who have great mobility and very healthy, are consistent. They show up every single day. They have a routine. They challenge themselves, because I love that you said that about challenging and getting through sort of the uncomfortable part of the stretch, because that's also a part of it, is our brain needs to be challenged. We need to be a little bit uncomfortable, so we start to change our neurology a little bit, right? With how we are dealing with discomfort, especially as we get older. So yeah, it's incredible. It's an incredible modality for all people.
So we talked a little bit about balance, which is usually, one of the things that as we age, we all trip, we catch a toe, we miss a step.
Yes.
And with yoga, it's like a toolbox to retrain those muscles that hey, I've got 2 feet underneath me, and I have more control of my body.
Hmm.
Go into some other
Hmm.
things that you've seen really be helpful with longevity and
Hmm.
living, being able to get in and out of your car,
Absolutely.
walking on a slippery surface.
Absolutely. I think that's the biggest thing. And one thing that just came to mind is that I encourage, and I see this happen with my senior population when they are consistent. I just want them to be able to feel like they can take up space because they feel so diminished in life so often. And this happens a lot with our backs as we get older, is this
Yeah,
sort of
this
caving
kind of
in.
caving in.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a lot of it is because
Yeah.
we're old, we're getting older and we feel like we can't take up as much space as we once took up. We maybe have lost our purpose, right? And so this starts to happen. So the biggest thing, is yes, put your feet on the ground. We find the balance, but also let's open up. Let's stay available to the possibility and potential of what our life could look like in this stage of where we are.
Yeah, I mean, look, so many of our clients in their 80s and also dealing with a lot of like hip replacements, knee replacements, so a lot of different surgeries, and then they may go to physical therapy, etc. So how does physical therapy, how can that be a good partner to helping them and probably much longer, like beyond, as you say. Is that, yes. How does yoga fit into this repairing
Yes.
after an operation?
Yeah. I love physical therapy. And I think if it is prescribed, which it should be, especially after hip replacement or knee replacement, a lot of the things that I find that physical therapists do, we're already doing in yoga, right? But they're really trained to direct exactly whatever the patient has gone through. If it's a hip replacement, double hip replacement, they're usually trying to regain strength and mobility
In that specific area.
Right, and some of those things we would naturally be doing in yoga.
Yes.
But it is very powerful complement, because a lot of stuff, we do a lot of bridges in yoga and especially therapeutic yoga, where we have people lift their hips over and over again, up and down. And it's really to strengthen the glutes and to strengthen all the muscles that surround the area that's injured, right? Or where there's compromise.
We've been talking about a lot of pelvic health recently, and you
Huge.
mentioned the bridging, the different abdominal activities
Yes.
in yoga that is so helpful with, getting that core strength again. And go into some of the actual activities, that you would use for pelvic health, strengthening glutes. Give us some yoga.
Yeah.
Give us some yoga names.
Yeah, some yoga names.
Yes.
You probably, so bridge,
Yeah.
of course, that's the number one. And we actually just started at my studio doing a lot of bridge work with like a resistance band.
Oh,
And it's veers a little bit Pilates, right? Because I do love Pilates, and Pilates is amazing for pelvic floor health. But we do a lot of bridge work. We do a lot of I do a lot of pelvic tilts, and very specific. A lot of it is here in the imagination and in the mind.
Yes.
Being able to, I always say, when we're on our back, imagine you are laying on a clock and you're tipping your pelvis forward and back between noon and 6, right? And a lot of people can't do that. It's very difficult, and it takes a lot of concentration. And then we say, go around the clock and try to hit every single number.
Oh, yes.
And there's usually 3-4 numbers that we want to skip. Then go counterclockwise.
Yes.
So it puts your awareness into the pelvic floor right away. In yoga, we also talk about these things called bandhas, which are energy locks in the body. And it's basically, a lot of times, like the first one is called Mula Bandha. And a lot of people say, well, it's like a Kegel. Which essentially it is, right? It's really the way I describe it, and I hope this isn't offensive, but the way I describe it is, imagine you are trying to draw a blueberry up your vagina. That is Mula Bandha. That's engaging the pelvic floor.
Well, that's what we were talking about the other day.
Yeah, with Dr. Turner, and we were talking about the specific exercises and that slow movement, and you have to really think about it because it's a small movement, very, very intentional.
That's it. Very intentional. So that in and of itself is helping the brain.
Yes.
Right, because you really have to get into the imagination.
And so there's a lot of like misconception about yoga.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a lot of myths. Maybe go over a few of the myths that you've heard over the years that people think this is what yoga is.
Well, actually, to be specific about a myth, I'd like you to talk about chair yoga, because that is actually, an activity that I know is done in all the communities. And I think some people steer away from it thinking, oh, that's just too easy. That's just too simple. But maybe you can talk a little bit about
I love
that.
chair.
Yeah.
Chair yoga is my favorite thing to teach, truthfully. We added it recently, a couple of years ago, and there was an interesting reaction in the community. And I do have an older population, and even from the older population, there was a little bit of an offense thinking, is this old people yoga? Are you adding old people yoga?
Yeah.
Because it's called chair yoga. There's not really another name I have for it. People were like, well, you could try to change it to a different name. And I'm like, why? This is what it is. People think of chair yoga as nursing home. You're sitting in a chair and you're just lifting your arms up and down. And that's great. If that's what I would call accessible, that is fantastic.
Absolutely.
And I love that people are doing that. And but the style that I love to teach and that my population of people really love is veers a little bit with, like, if you've ever heard of Iyengar yoga, which is very alignment focused. So we use the chair to create space in the body. We do downward facing dog over the chair. It's not easy, but what it allows us to do with a lot of support is to allow our back to relax. It allows us to feel where we're putting too much pressure in our hands, in our shoulders, where maybe we're working a lot in our backs, and to get what I would call a therapeutic sort of element to our practice, where we can actually drop into a pose. Not necessarily restorative yoga in the sense that it's relaxing, because it is a lot of work, but it allows us to create space in the body. The chair, I always say, is like the best partner. It doesn't let you lie. It doesn't let you cheat, right?
Yes.
So
And yet it doesn't tell you anything.
You mean
yes, exactly, exactly.
So the chair is your accountability partner.
yeah,
What
you
is
didn't do
the
a good
chair?
Perfect partner.
We like that.
Silent.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
No opinion.
It's silent and non-judgmental. But it's power. It's such a wonderful modality. I mean, there's so much you can do with the chair. Just like, I don't know if you've ever, there are ropes. There's rope yoga. It's very similar. It's meant to be therapeutic, to create space in the joints, to help us to untangle the spine. When we hang upside down, which sounds dramatic, but it's actually really accessible for most people to do inversions using the chair. Down dog is one of them. We take weight off of our spine. And for many people, it's the first time in their whole lives that they've ever felt that. And it feels incredible. So, yeah.
Well, just going back to, you talked a little bit about inversions. What are some of the benefits of getting the feet up in the air for seniors?
First, it depending on the inversion, most of it for seniors, I find, is the spine. When we are standing or sitting, there is a certain amount of weight. Doesn't matter how much we weigh, but there is an additional load that we are putting on our vertebra. And as we age, all of us, our vertebrae start to compress. I forget the actual statistic. I think it's like 93% of people have spinal degeneration. So which means the vertebrae are compressing just because we're humans, we're made up of that material that's not going to last forever, unfortunately. So when we go upside down, the idea is that we take that weight off of the spine. And especially people who sit, the weight is double what it is when we're standing. So when we can go upside down, we actually free up the spine a little bit. We take that pressure off, which is why when people have spinal issues or back pain, often people will say you should get an inversion table for your home, which I also recommend to people. Because when you go upside down, you're taking the weight off of the spine. It's also just great for the nervous system. It's great for the heart. The heart's not having to work so hard, to get the blood flow to go down. It's really great.
The reason we're doing this mobility episode is we're looking at lifestyle and longevity. And people live out here in the West Coast, Santa Barbara, up and down the coast for a particular reason. They love the weather. It's opportunity year round to stay healthy. And so how have you seen yoga extend people's, lives?
Oh, wow. Yeah. In such great ways. I would say the number one thing, has nothing to actually do with the yoga itself. It is the community, right? So it's people coming in and being with other human beings and not being isolated and building that community. I have a dear student who is probably 86 who has dementia. And every class that she comes to is the best class that she's ever taken.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
and everybody's new to her.
Yeah.
She knows me because she sees me so frequently, but it's like the best experience.
Yeah.
So number one, it's the community.
Yeah.
That is what contributes to that longevity. And then I think number two is obviously the work. It is the breath, it's the mindfulness, and it's the movement. But I think the glue is really the magic is the community.
Yeah.
It really is.
I will agree with you. I know I was a regular attender to yoga. And then during COVID, the yoga studios shut down and we went virtual. And I made a really grand attempt. I tried for 6 months and put my little computer screen up and tried to do my yoga with all my friends.
Yeah.
And man, was it hard.
Yes.
Because that was the number one thing I missed was that connection of those regulars I'd see all the time, at the studio. And that was a really important link for community.
Absolutely.
And so isolation, we see that a lot with seniors and, not being around other humans. I mean, I love technology. I mean, here we are, we're doing a podcast. We're using technology to put out this information, but there is nothing to replace
human beings. No, I know.
And being with your friends and your fellow colleagues and your yogis. I mean, there's nothing to really replace that.
No,
I think that's the incredible thing about yoga is there's so many different forms of it, which can make it a very accessible modality.
Yes.
I mean, we haven't even talked about the spiritual side of yoga, which is not necessarily as much embraced as the physical side of it. But the physical side alone just offers so many benefits.
Yeah.
And, I know you were talking about some harder positions, et cetera, with chair yoga, but as we said before, it's consistency. So if you just get up and do, a beautiful stretch and raise your arms up, and that's all you can do, as you said, like good for you, like move it or lose it.
Yes.
So any amount of movement that you can do is one step closer to
absolutely
getting chi or energy, flowing through your body.
Absolutely.
So other than getting a Lululemon subscription, and they are not a sponsor, by the way, and that was a free plug. How does one even start to engage in yoga? What do they need to bring with them? What do they need to wear? Tell us a little bit about your studio here in Santa Barbara, and the classes that you offer, and how people can connect with you.
Yeah, I think the best place to start is really, if you've never done yoga before, find a studio. Find a yoga studio. Don't go to the gym, go to the yoga studio and look at their schedule and ask, if it's confusing, ask someone and say, I'm brand new. And I know that that's a hard thing to do, but we're prepared for it. I love people who are new at the studio. Ask, what class do you think I should take? These are my limitations. These are my injuries if I have injuries, or this is what I'm looking for, right? And the folks should know to tell you, where to go. The best way, I always tell people, there's a style of yoga right now that's incredibly popular at a lot of places. It's called yin yoga. And it's
yin.
Oh,
yin yoga.
And it's very slow and long, stretchy holds. It's designed to open up the connective tissue in the body, calm the nervous system. It's not always comfortable. Some of the stretchings is intense, but it's not super physically demanding. Always a great place, I tell people, to start, especially my senior population, especially if there's not a chair class or, a therapeutic class. Go to a yin class. It's a great way in because you're going to feel really good afterwards. What to wear and what to bring, wear whatever you want. I know that opens it up to a lot of things, but that is actually a thing that keeps people out.
It is.
It really is. And it's like, so my studio here in Santa Barbara is Soul Seek Yoga, and our biggest mission is to make yoga accessible for everybody. I want everybody who comes in to feel comfortable and to not feel like scared or out of place, or like, because they're wearing sweatpants and somebody's got these Lululemon tights,
Yes.
or these aloe tights on, right? It's like, just be comfortable, be who you are, come as you are,
Right.
is what I always say,
Right.
and it's that first step that's always difficult.
Yeah.
I know it's the first step.
Everyone started somewhere.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's just taking those first steps.
It's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where is your studio here in Santa Barbara?
We are at 26 East De La Guerra, right across from City Hall, actually, downtown.
Convenient. Yes,
very
wonderful.
nice. It's a
Soul
lovely area,
Seek Yoga.
surrounded by wineries, so it's great.
Yeah, well, we'll just, have, yoga in the morning and wine in the afternoon. I'm not sure. So.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We're in a great place. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful space,
Yep.
and with some of the kindest, most wonderful people.
And
that
what
you'll
are
meet.
the hours? Like when do
Yeah.
classes start, and like what would be the schedule Monday through Friday?
Yeah,
Saturday,
Monday through Sunday, every day.
Every
Every
day.
day there's something. Some days there's an early morning class. Some days we don't have the early morning class. It's kind of based on the rhythm of Santa Barbara. It's like we're going to get up a little bit later, in Santa Barbara, which is great. We do have a lot of the yin classes in the evening where we have a nice vibe where the candles are lit, the room is dark, and it's cozy and warm and comfortable.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, what would be a typical size of classes you see at the studio? Like number of people there?
So we have a pretty big space. Generally the classes feel, so some of the daytime classes can feel like small group classes, which is really nice. It's not like mat to mat packed classes. So a lot of the daytime classes are very much, maybe like 5-10 people. And then our evening classes can sometimes range from 10 to 20 people.
Yeah.
But we try to leave the space so that everybody feels that they have space to stretch out, that they're getting attention from the instructor, that feels really good.
Well, you certainly have a beautiful aura about you.
Oh, thank you.
And
Thank you.
I'm sure that sense of calmness and wellness flows through into your business.
Thank you.
And so we wish you all the very
Thank
best.
you so much.
And,
Thank you.
Really thank you, Justin, for coming in.
Thank you.
and
Thanks for
speaking
doing
to
what you
yoga.
do.
Yeah.
Oh, we love it.
We love it.
Yeah.
And we will put a link to your studio
Thank you
and
so
your
much.
contact in the bottom that people can reach out and just come by and have a visit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just maybe give it a go.
Absolutely.
Give it a go.
Give
Give it a go.
Give it a
Yeah.
go.
All right. Well, thank you for being
Thank you
with
so
us.
much.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, today is all about senior mobility, and we are thrilled that you came to join us this morning at the Senior Scoop Studios.
Thank you, Natasha.
Welcome. Thank you, Natasha.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We are specializing this episode on all things about strength training and longevity of life. And we saw some cool things we really loved about your gym specifically. And you focus on women over 30.
We do. So we are a women's focused fitness studio, primarily focusing on strength training. And our demographic is 30 and up. And we were really intentional about that.
Tell us a bit about that, because most gyms rely on the whippersnippers to keep them afloat. So you've made a very intentional decision to be women only and over the age of 30.
Yeah, absolutely. So that really came out of a place of need. So I have been a personal trainer in town for probably over 15 years. And a lot of times when people graduate from personal training, they're like, okay, I feel like I have a good routine down. Like I know what I'm doing. I want to go do group fitness. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, where should I go? I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable sending you to some of these places where I know the class sizes are really big. You're not going to get the kind of attention that maybe you need and the modifications that you may need because of the limitations or just where you're at in your fitness journey. And so probably about 2 years ago, I'm like, well, let's just create this space. And I think the women only piece has been really beneficial for people because that's the biggest barrier for a lot of women is that they feel intimidated.
Right.
They don't just want to go walk into any generic gym and feel self-conscious, feel like they don't belong there, feel like they don't fit in with the crowd. And so we've created this space that is super non-intimidating, all people in similar seasons of life and dealing with similar issues and overcoming them.
So now we have Sage Society Fitness and Wellness. I love
We
it.
do.
Oh,
Thank you.
good for
I
you.
love that. One of the things I love is a lot of when you grow up, sometimes you'll take physical education classes here or there. You may learn proper techniques for activities, you may not. And so people kind of go through life and sometimes they get injured in the gym. And so, tell us a little bit about how do you start out somebody from the very beginning who hasn't maybe seen a gym in 20 years?
Absolutely. So we work with people from people who were former athletes in their past life to people that have never touched the dumbbell before. And it all comes down to breaking down the movements and really educating people on the why behind what they're doing. And I think that's been the biggest game changer for us, because when you are taught how to do things properly, you know where you should be feeling those exercises and why you should be doing them, then it builds the confidence so that you can go to a fitness class, you can go do other sorts of movements and feel really confident in your body. And I think taking the time to go through that with people is really beneficial. And that's something that's often overlooked when you're in a class of a lot of people that maybe already know what they're doing.
Yeah, because a lot of people, they walk into a gym, you can look at their form and you can see that they haven't had any training. I love that small, intimate setting where people are getting that individualized attention. And as we age as women, with strength training and muscle tone, but also bone. Let's talk a little bit about the benefits of maintaining strong structures.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know after, let's say, 45, a lot of women are at risk of osteoporosis, or maybe they've already been diagnosed with something like osteopenia. And the strength training is a huge piece of that. And most women are told by their doctor, okay, you're at risk of this. You should really start doing some strength training or some body weight movement and stuff like that. But nobody really knows where to start if that's something that they haven't done in the past. I will get women who told me well, I used to do Zumba, or I used to do this, I used to do that, but I wouldn't know what to do with a set of dumbbells. Right. And I think empowering people with the knowledge on where to start, and it doesn't have to be all going to extremes. A lot of times we're just working with people on doing body weight exercise first.
Yeah. So wait, just using one's body as opposed to even picking up,
right,
as you said, dumbbells.
We don't need to come in and start lifting 100-pound barbells.
Yes. No.
For a lot of women, just doing some body weight movement, having some impact on those bones so that you are rebuilding bone instead of continuing to lose bone can be really helpful.
For me, it's not only the bone, it's also about strengthening women's structures so they don't have balance issues or can maybe avoid having balance issues. And I think that's really important as well.
Absolutely. In my previous life, I was an occupational therapist, still am, but don't work in the field anymore. And I did primarily home health. So going to people's homes after surgery, after hospital stays, after maybe just being sick. And the number one thing I found was the correlation between balance and falls at home. And so we work in a lot of balance training for people because that's so important when it comes to being able to live independently or to do things on your own as you continue to age. Can't tell you how many times I walked into someone's house and they were sitting on the floor.
Yeah. Slips and falls, getting in and out of a bathtub, slippery tile, all those situations we all find ourselves in with having good balance and being able to recover before you go down.
Exactly. And the more muscle tone you have and the more joint stability, the more you're able to catch yourself, not lose your balance, all of that, and not depend on other things.
So another issue that comes up is incontinence. So, you go to the gym and you start lifting weights. It's that was a little bit embarrassing, So, how do you address that?
Yeah. So pelvic floor issues are something that nobody really talked about for a long time, especially for women that had babies and never really addressed it then.
Yes.
I usually will get them 20, 30 years later with the same issues that they've had. And they're like, well, it's just normal. That's just how it is.
Well, it is normal, but.
Exactly.
But it doesn't have to be how it is.
Exactly. And so we work a lot on the core and pelvic floor strengthening, which can be so important for women in terms of confidence, because if that's what's holding you back from wanting to go work out, or even just little things like maybe chasing after your grandchildren or going to, jump off of something, if that's what you're worried about, it's going to hold you back from doing the things that you want to do. So a lot of our programming, because we do work with postpartum women as well, carries over through all of the different pieces in life, right? All the different life stages. And
we see,
really
here in Santa Barbara, it's a lifestyle. As people age here, we see them, in their 70s and their 80s and their 90s still out on the pickleball courts.
Yes.
But, it all starts with just a good practice. And so in your gym specifically, do you have classes morning, noon, and night? Are they 7 days a week? Like, what is the schedule typically in your gym?
Yeah. So we have a variety of different services, which I think is important to point out. So we have large group classes. And by large group, I mean 18 people. We still keep it fairly intimate. Those run all morning, so from 9 to 1. And then we also have specialty classes and semi-private training, which is really where I feel people get the most benefit, especially if they're new to strength training. So for example, like on Fridays, we have our noon beginner strength class. That's where I would encourage people to start because it's a little slower pace. We're really breaking down those movements and it's not so high energy, which I think can be really intimidating for people. Then we also have the semi-private training, which is essentially personal training, but in a small group format. So there may be 4 people there to 1 coach, and then they're each working on their own individualized workouts based on their goals, based on where they're starting and the things that they need to work on. So whether that be balance or overall conditioning or weight loss or whatever that is.
Or even preparing for surgery or post-surgery.
Totally.
I mean, with your experience, I'm sure you're able to really help people very nicely in regaining some of their strength.
And we're so lucky. We have an amazing team at Sage. So we have a mix of myself, I'm an occupational therapist. We have a physical therapist. We have a pelvic floor therapist.
Wow.
Corrective exercise specialist. So we have a really solid team of people that actually know how to help people, whether that be before or after surgery.
Right.
Well, that's really incredible. Generally when you meet somebody who's a personal trainer, they don't come into it with that type of knowledge, an OT, a PT, an exercise specialist. I mean, that is like an incredible amount of knowledge you bring to the table from correct, anatomy, knowing the body at a deep level, but being able to apply that now to helping people, live longer and stronger.
Absolutely. And I think that's been the most rewarding piece, is even watching our team grow and learn from each other because everyone has their own strengths.
Yes.
And so I'm a huge advocate of continuing education and teaching our coaches how to properly work with women throughout the different life stages.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if a woman, 70s, 80s, picks up the phone and calls you or comes to your front desk, what would be the process in your initiation with them?
That's a great question. So we usually start people with a one-on-one consult. So that's a free 30-minute consult. Come in and meet with either myself or one of our coaches. This is where we talk about previous workout experience, goals, kind of what they're looking for, what their ultimate goal would be, and then putting them into the right program that's going to work for them. So for some people, that might be starting with one-on-one training, right? A lot of women will start with maybe even 4 sessions of one-on-one training and then transition into more semi-private or group classes.
Yes.
We have some people who have a lot of experience and are in pretty good shape. And we're like, okay, these are the classes we would recommend for you to attend. And that 30 minutes is really valuable to really assess how people are moving. That's the biggest thing I look at. I usually will run people through a series of exercises, right? They're like, I haven't done a plank in 20 years. I'm like, great, let's see what you got, right?
Yes.
And so that's been really helpful for us to make sure that people are being put in the right kind of spots that are going to benefit them the most.
Yeah, I can say from my experiences, a lot of women have a lot of emotional fears about going to a gym, putting on a pair of shorts, what do I wear?
Yeah.
How do you make, ladies feel comfortable that just haven't
done that in a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think for a lot of people, it's coming in for that consult and getting to know the space and the people there. Also, all of our coaches are women as well. And it's always funny to me when every once in a while a man will stroll in because they're lost. And everyone whips their head around, right? And they're like, what is he doing here? It's not like that, but it's just, it's just not that space. And so basically you enter this bubble of everyone's cheering you on. Everyone is, I have some women that roll in and they are like, my socks aren't matching. I have the wrong shoes on, but I'm here.
Right. Perfect. Perfect.
Well, I love that supportive model of all women there for each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I really appreciate you coming in and sharing some tips with us and sharing your business with us. I mean, congratulations. It's hard starting your own business and getting it up and running and having such a thriving population. No, good for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been really fun.
Tell us where you're located and how people can get in contact with you. We're going to put a link on the podcast, but where are you located here in Santa Barbara?
We are located at 360 South Hope Avenue. So if you know where Natural Cafe is by the car dealerships, we're right in that parking lot. We're kind of tucked away in the corner. It's intentional. I like it to be a little bit private.
Yes.
But we do have 2,500 square feet of gym space, and you can park right out in front. Best way to get a hold of us, you can call our phone number. You can go on the website, sagesocietyfitness.com. There's a spot there to book a consult. So like I said, you can book a consult with myself or one of our coaches. And we have Lauren, our studio manager. She's always at the front desk.
Perfect.
So she's great if you just want to stroll in and get some more information. You can come on by.
That's awesome.
And go for lunch next door.
And go for lunch next door at the cafe. That's awesome.
Well, thank you for spending some time with us this morning in the studio here at the Senior Scoop. And we look forward to checking out the gym.
Great. Thanks for having me.
So
I appreciate it so
Natasha.
much.
All right. Bye-bye.